Hi, ever wonder what it's like to work another profession or live in the underworld? Listen to unsuspecting riders give a 10 to 15 minute personal masterclass as I spontaneously interview them as they enter my taxi. I'm your host, Simon Rushton, and this is Taxi Chronicles. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the lovely Laura, and I'm taking her to another place. And she's a brand, she's a brand manager. So she's going to tell us all about it. So nice to have you here today, Laura.
Thank you.
First question I have to ask is, what kind of child were you when you were in school?
I would imagine bossy.
Okay. Honesty is the best policy here.
Yep.
So why were you bossy, and have you always been bossy? Is there a point when you go quiet?
Yeah, I think I like to be organised, so I think even from a young age I was deciding what we would play or how we'd play it. Okay. According to my mother anyway.
Have you got lots of siblings?
One younger sister.
Okay, so you were
I'm the oldest,
the
yeah.
rock. Okay. So you're in the brand business, helping big sports athletes to get their sponsorship or to manage it. First of all, when did you decide you wanted to be in that business?
So I think around your sort of GCSEs and A-levels, where you're making decisions about what to study and where to go for uni and things like that, I knew I wanted to work in sport, and I knew I wanted to work in communications because they were the two things that I liked. So really, I went to uni based on knowing what career path I wanted, and picked my uni and my course around that. Okay. So quite early.
What was the catalyst? I know you like you said you like it, but was there an inspirational moment or catalyst?
I think I had a really good teacher, my English teacher, who then was my A-level media studies teacher. He just made me understand how language can really shape things, and I really enjoyed his classes and his way of teaching, and I think that opened my eyes to media and communications, and then I decided that was a route I wanted to take.
Okay, that's nice. Can we just a quick one on this? What you said you did your A-levels?
Yep.
What A-levels did you do, and what higher education did you do?
So I did media, English literature and business studies with geography as well on the side. And then...
Those are all A-levels?
All A-levels, yeah. So it was an AS level when it was my turnaround. Geography was like the first year. And then I went to Loughborough University and I did media and communications, but I picked Loughborough because I don't play any sport, I'm terrible, but they were a very good sports uni. So I knew that if I wanted to get experience working with teams and understanding sport, that it would be a good place to go.
Okay. So you got on there just on your academic standard, not on any sports?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, and that's like a C and above or B and above?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. What did you learn throughout your whole experience that you wish you knew when you had started?
So at uni or just
Both.
During education?
Education and the career that you've been in.
I think trust your gut is not just something people say. You actually really can, and you should. And if you put a bit more faith in what you think at the beginning, that comes with experience. I think you don't get to that point until you're a bit further into your career, but trust your instincts, and actually you're not far off.
What was it like when you first entered into the industries? I assume you've been in there some years. Mm-hmm. How has it developed? How has it changed?
So I didn't get my dream job to start with. You have to find a job and work your way through. So I started off in financial PR, which is not an area that I enjoyed, nor was particularly good at. And I think what I learned very quickly is you have to work really hard, and it doesn't matter what you're working on, whether you're passionate about it or not, you should always give your all and just take every single opportunity to get experience. And I think I always had an eye on where I wanted to get to, but I worked really hard at what I was doing at every stage because it's quite important to me to do a good job. I think what I see of the industry at the moment is that there's a lot of focus on a junior level of just constantly getting promoted and getting better, but on paper, and it's not necessarily always about the work and the hard work. And I think the industry is inspiring people to fight for promotion, but it's not necessarily bringing out the best in everyone at every stage.
Okay, so it's not necessarily like a team player atmosphere, it's more of a dog-eat-dog.
Yeah, and just always thinking that the most important thing is what job title you have, and actually it doesn't really matter. It's really about the work that you do and the contribution you make, and I think people forget that sometimes.
You sound like you have a real love for what you do.
Yeah, I think so. I think the older you get, the work plays a different role, but I always want to do good work. If I can help other people do good work or get people across the line with their goals, it's really important, and it's really satisfying.
You've worked with a wide range of athletes, branding. How does that whole concept work of branding?
So the brand piece is sort of one strand. So originally my role has been, so I've worked in team environments where you're helping them interact with media, interact with sponsors, interact with fans, giving them the information to have a conversation that helps them, helps the organisation. So if you think of a club level, international level sports team, they have a role to play in promoting that as well as themselves.
Yeah.
You offer them some support, information and protection so that they can face media, which is quite a challenging environment. With sponsors and brands, you're helping them maximise opportunities, but not just for them as individuals, as organisations as well, and fulfilling sponsorship rights. So if a sponsor pays to put a badge on a shirt, a player has an obligation to help promote that. So that's sort of the athlete world that I've worked in, and then I work with higher profile people now to bring out the best in campaigns. So they might be an athlete through to a celebrity, as we say, and it's all about giving them the information to help tell a story. That's what I do really for a living.
Okay, so like there's that football player who wanted to feed the kids or feeding the kids. You could be on his campaign and say this is the best way to go around it.
Yeah, you help them develop. Marcus Rashford's got a passion, so he will have had a team of people that he's probably had helped him bring that vision to life, and that's led to not only massive impact, but he works with people like Burberry now, for example, who have put some money and some interest behind what he's doing and helping him take that far and wide. So yeah, it's a really interesting space.
Okay, that's very so what does what's it like working for these players? Because it sounds like you're organised, but you need to have some patience. I see you just smiling there, understanding, empathy. You're like a mother in certain ways.
Yeah, I started in a very high profile club environment early in my 20s. Yeah. So, and I was one female amongst 50 men most of the time. It's an interesting environment. You have to have a thick skin, and you do have to have a lot of patience. And equally, I would say that the athletes would say the same about working with me, because you are the person that's asking for things and correcting things and briefing. So it's trying to build a relationship with these people on a level that works for everyone. They're very focused. Athletes have a really, really difficult job to do. Constant eye on them, constant, every aspect of their life impacts their performance. They don't really switch off, and they don't always see the part of the job that you're asking them to do as massively important to getting them to play better. And that's really all they care about. They want to play better and win. So it's every athlete is different, but en masse I would say that they're a fun group of people to work with, but they're very focused. So you have to understand their world, and equally they have to try and understand yours.
You sound like you really know your stuff.
I've just been doing it for a while, I guess. But
okay, how do you convince the athlete that you are on their side?
Takes time. You have to build up trust. Some of the players that I've worked with that I've learnt the most from disliked me the most, I think, at one point in time. Some of them never really understood what I was asking of them, and I think you just have to you have to be clear on what you're trying to achieve, but you have to understand how the individual plays a role in it. So I used to be very, very, very focused on making sure everything was done perfectly and we got the best results, and some of the players used to feel my stress. And I remember one saying to me, I need you to calm down for me to calm down. And I realised that actually,
Oh, that's deep.
yeah, I go to the swan mentality of you need to be smooth on the surface and paddling like hell underneath. And that, he changed the way I work just by making that comment, because I realised my role wasn't about me, it was about them. So if I could put them at ease, I would get the better result. So
yeah, that's I need you to calm down so I can calm down.
Yeah,
that's
it was like a big slap in the face of reality.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good.
Yeah, it was good. It changed my entire thinking. So
I think I'm going to use that on some people when I get home. I need you to calm down so I can calm down. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to see how that goes.
Nice hard dose of reality will often do it.
Good. When I said I'm in the hospital with a saucepan in my head. Okay.
Oh,
Good at the time.
Yeah.
So what does the future hold for you now?
So I basically decided after quite a long time in similar roles and in similar organisations to take a bit of a leap of faith, and I set up my own business. Did a lot of different contracts and different projects, so moved away from sport, worked in big broadcast houses right through to property and automotive, and then I've kind of circled back round and now I'm working in sport again, because I think honestly it's where my passion lies, or my skill set seems to fall, and Corona made the world a difficult place to operate in sport and as an individual. So I'm back working in an agency, which is a great environment, and I don't look too far ahead actually. I try and find work I enjoy and do that and then see what happens. And I think long term I'd love to go back in-house, but we'll see what happens.
Last two questions, and you've been a great guest, is you spoke about being a woman in a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
How was that? What stance? Like my daughter, she's 16, I love her. She wants to go down some career route. What would you say is the best way to go about things in a male-dominated industry?
It's so complicated these days. I think I would say don't think of yourself as female in a male environment, but be realistic and be aware. So be confident, do your job. Don't ever just feel like you're a girl in a man's world, female in a man's world. But sometimes I think it's just having a bit of awareness that some things there's tradition in sport, for example, so a big changing room full of men is not an environment that you need to make PC necessarily. You need to respect tradition and how that works and why it works the way it does, but equally everyone needs to be treated fairly and rightly, so you need to be able to do your job. Have a thick skin has always been my mentality, but that is who I am as a person, not necessarily me. It's just a female working in a male environment. So I think the world has changed since I started in sport. I've been doing this for 15 odd years now, and it is different. And
does it change for the better?
I think so. Sometimes I think I'm very pro everyone feeling like they can do anything. Don't think you should make career choices based on your gender, history. I think anything. I think it should be about what you want to do for a living and how you enjoy your job. So I think there's possibly a bit more nervousness around females working in male sports now because of the sort of political correctness. You need to be able to have some fun and have some banter, but there needs to be a line and it needs to be respectful and done right, if that makes sense. So
that's good. I understand that. Last question is, what's the impact you want to have in the world?
Oh, crikey.
It's a big one.
I don't know that I can change the world. I just know that in the world that I operate in, I would like to do good things, have a positive impact. So if I say I'm going to do a good job for someone, I want to deliver on that. And if I say I'm going to recycle, I should recycle. And if I should make the small changes and steps that I can commit to have a bit of a positive impact. So I'm not going to change the world, but I can certainly contribute in my own little version of it, I think.
I will contradict you there and say you are changing the world in your way. And why I say that, because if you're a woman in a male-dominated industry, you're showing other women it can be done.
Sure, hopefully, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that.
You're welcome.
And we wish you well in your future endeavours. We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest daily episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economy and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Then listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you will hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m.